Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Couch Crunch Podcast. I know it's been a while again. It's been really hard to really get these episodes in, man, but we're really trying to keep it, at a consistency with keep uploading the episodes. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to look through our videos. We did really great on that last episode with the note review. And let me tell you, I think everybody on the team actually really appreciates the support that we got on that video. So continue to keep striving for that, guys. We really want that going forward. And so let's dive into this episode. Don, you can go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, it's Don here. And like Nick was saying, really appreciate the support from last episode. That's our highest yet. And I hope to see it keep going up, from there.
We did crazy on that, man. That was really good.
Yo, yeah. Definitely did.
So on this episode, we're just definitely going to just talk about our anticipation of season 6 of Rick and Morty. I'm a huge fan of the show. I know Don is pretty new to the show, but I as we get into like how it left off in season 5, because in this episode we're not really going to dive into like all the mysteries and details of the show per se. It's just pretty much just kind of talk about like what is to expect from this next season and what are some of the things that maybe some people are kind of hoping hoping that they will be explaining some of the concept behind like the background stories of, even Morty, because obviously that was like a big part of the story that was in season 5. With that, or this evil Rick, I can't even think of it right now. The guy, pretty much the Rick that pretty much, again, if you guys haven't seen like the last season 5, what took place in season 5, this is going to be like all spoilers. So pretty much if you guys don't want to be spoiled, you might want to click out of this episode and actually just go and watch that if you're interested in actually finding out what's going on with the series. But in it pretty much, the main Rick who pretty much sent the actual Rick from C-137 Rick down this I would say like this journey of trying to figure out like who that Rick was that actually killed him and stuff like that. So we're gonna dive more into that. But on this episode, hopefully like Don's can get like a more of an insight on the show and stuff. Don, you can go ahead and tell me a little bit about the pilot, because I never really like even saw like before like the show.
Oh, right.
Like went off.
Okay. Right. Yeah, because I was really interested over like the beginnings of what Rick and Morty actually started off as the artist myself. It's always to see like the progression of how like how creation starts off. So with It started off in October the 29th in 2006, actually. The first...
oh, shit.
But before it was called Rick and Morty, it was actually called Doc and Marty. That's like before... I guess he changed the name later on, but his name was originally Doc.
Doc? Where did he get that name from?
Yeah. You can obviously see the influence from Back in the Future and,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's really where the inspiration that came from. I don't know. The boy in Back in the Future, I mean, he was more like a kind of cool, like he wasn't like a nerd or anything like that. I don't think so. I haven't seen Back to the Future in like God knows how long.
Been a while for me too.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I'm like, I don't know, like where do you get the inspiration to make Morty? I don't know. That damn Doc. That's a weird name though. That didn't even sound right.
Yeah, because it's even to the point where, like in the pilot episodes, they're both dressed up as the Back in the Future main characters. They look exactly like them, well, the same outfits at least.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. So it kind of really sounds like he was very, very like trying to head towards that. But I'm guessing like he wanted to add like his own feel to not just ripping it straight from Back to the Future. He wanted to add like his own taste on like the concept of the show. I mean, that's probably why, because I think like the very first pilot of the actual show didn't come out till I think 2013, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like later on. You know?
Yeah. Damn.
That's when Adult Swim picked it up after that. But before that, it was on this website called Channel 101, which is like a
Oh shit.
Newgrounds, right?
Yeah. Newgrounds is it like that website, right? We used to watch like all
like
these.
you can see like different little animations made by like indie people and everything.
Yeah,
it's like a website like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like just video flash games on there. I think you can actually watch like a little mini short films or something like that, like an actual like animation type thing.
Right, like just made by independent people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything up there.
Oh shit, it was actually on there?
Yeah, it's called it was in Newgrounds, but it was a website like Newgrounds. It's called Channel 101. I never really heard of this website before, but it's been around apparently for a while. And like you pretty much can like upload like it's like basically like early YouTube like videos and like animations made by people. You can post on there. But that's where it was first made by the creator Justin Roiland.
Oh yeah, Justin. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you will find those pilots, and it doesn't look like the Rick and Morty of today. It's just like crudely drawn, and you can tell they wasn't really taking it as serious as they are now, of course.
All
but
right.
it's just them fucking around, joking, making like different skits with the characters, putting them in different scenarios, and you could tell with this is like more crude humor at the time.
Yeah.
And it would just show like the little shorts I've seen is just Morty it's just it's disgusting, but it was Morty sucking on ball sack.
Oh my god. Yo, that's funny as shit.
And they would just be doing stupid shit like that, and just getting and just referencing like shows at the time of like Jersey Shore and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's funny because like it's from what you were saying. They never really hid from like that type of humor. You know what I mean? Because it's actually a lot of Easter eggs where they're always referencing dicks and balls and crazy shit in there. Yeah, they've always kept that type of humor within the show. It's just kind of hidden. You know what I mean? Like especially, it's not really hidden. It's actually well out there, but it's not like they're like. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the jokes are actually focusing on, like, sometimes they will, but like most of the time you don't really see them like talk, like you just said, like Morty was like fucking sucking balls or some shit. Like,
yeah, he literally got on his knees and started.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't do shit like that now. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think they could get away with that on Adult Swim, even with Adult Swim limits.
Yeah, I think there's still like, I think there's still like a lot of censor stuff. Like you can't really, because it's still on television. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but back then with these pilot episodes, you could tell it was like more crude and more adult centric.
Yeah,
those pilots, but it was just interesting to see that, and it just took me back to the Newgrounds days where you will see like indie creators making like their own animations on Flash and everything.
Yeah, that was a fun experience to always like go backwards and appreciate like where this actually came from. You know what I mean? Like I like that you brought that up on this episode, because especially it's really good to really go back and appreciate where it came from, and then also it's like how it got so much better. Like the evolution just was like, holy shit. Like it's not just the graphics and, how the way the characters are kind of like more loosened up and, they feel like more of themselves. But it's always a good thing to always appreciate like where they first started at. Like that's a good mental note to always revisit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it kind of just, at the time, it just came off as like a parody of Back to the Future. That's what it seemed like he was going for at first. But I guess he tried to evolve the story later on. And it
Yeah.
became what it is today.
That's because I feel like that's, as Rick himself, everybody can tell. It's like, oh man, he looks just like the professor from Back to the Future. He's heavy influence. Like, before I even started watching this series, I was like, yeah, he looks just like the professor from Back to the Future. It's crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny. I think all of it is just like a funny concept to really, to really take in. You know what I mean?
Right. And the thing that Justin Roiland, he voices both of the characters,
Oh
Rick
yeah,
and
he
Morty.
does. I just watched like an actual interview from like the end of like season 5, because as the series was wrapping up for that season, he was pretty much like doing voiceovers and stuff like that, like kind of like explaining the like how he actually did it, which was interesting. He was actually watching like a bunch of other people trying to imitate the voice, Rick and Morty and Mr. Meeseeks and all the rest of those other characters that's on the show. It's interesting. I love the fan base that this show has built throughout the years, for sure.
Yeah.
It just shows you like how much power that this show really has done for the community. You know what I mean? This show has done a lot. And I don't know if he actually seen like if it was actually going to go this far. You know what I mean? I think like he just appreciate the love and support that he has gotten through this journey of making the show. You know what I mean? Like I think he is the creator of it, but obviously he has a whole team of writers, and they try to help him gather like information, like just try to understand like the concept behind like the characters, where the story is going to be going. You know what I mean? So I think he's just been appreciative of all those things, and it's interesting how he does the voices. It's so crazy.
Yeah. And that's really the fun too. Like him being the director of the show plus the voices of the characters. That's
Yeah, and he
you get like some pay actor to do the voices of your characters, but he's doing it both.
and he's not even done yet either. He says he wants to actually discover more voices to do for more characters. I like that. I like that he wants to push further more like his creativity. You know what I mean? That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
But as far as like for the anticipation for season 6, I'm really hoping that we can actually figure out what was Evil Morty's intentions. We already knew his intentions was actually to get out of the universe, out of all type of like every universe possible that Rick was a part of. He wanted to go to like a different whole sector of like, I'm guessing like outside I always the central night, what was it called, the central night curve or something. I always get that. It's such a big thing. It's he wanted to get outside of that spectrum of just like every Rick possible. You know what I mean? Because obviously with every story that involves Morty and Rick is just, Morty's always a forgiven person, but he's always getting killed in the process, or Rick is always letting him down. He's always an asshole to him. Something is always happening to Morty in every single timeline. So, it's just, I'm guessing Evil Morty has kind of gotten to the point where it was just like, you know what, man, I'm done. I just want to go to like a universe where he's no longer the smartest man in the world. So he did succeed in season 5. He succeeded in season 5 and managed to get into a whole nother, part of the universe that he's no longer the smartest man and he's not a part of. So my anticipation for season 6, I really want to know what beings is on that type of side of the universe. You know what I mean? Can there be somebody actually smarter than Rick Sanchez? You know what I mean? C-137, Rick Sanchez. It'll be interesting, you know what I mean, to unfold that and just really understand, like, did Morty get what he wanted? You know what I mean? Like, he did get what he wanted, but it's like, how you always say the grass is not always green on the other side. It's like, so what if you did all that for just nothing? You know what I mean? Like, what if you didn't like what was on this side? You know what I'm saying? Like it could be somebody actually way worse than Rick. So, you know, I don't know. You know, it's just a lot of anticipation of unfolding of like what happened in season 5, of course. And then also maybe we can kind of get more of an understanding of you know, we do understand that, you know, in season 5, the last episode of season 5, we were actually um talking about a little more of a little more about Rick's origin story, which was appreciated because I think we only got a glimpse of it in season 3, episode 1, when he got arrested from the Federation, because he turned himself in, because obviously he just seemed like, you know, he could have always been running from the government, and he's always have actually, but he's seen how it was damaging his family and, you know, the effects of like being criminals. He didn't want that for the family, so he turned himself in, you know, and you know, from there we got a glimpse. They try to get the portal guns like formula to pretty much, because that's what the show is all about. It's just like there's so many enemies that Rick has that really wants to know like how did he make the portal and like the portal gun, and like how to get like the math or the science behind that, so that way they can make that same invention. But you know, it's been said before, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it's been said before that he's not really the first man or being to really create the portal gun. You know what I mean? He just happens to be like I think the first one in this universe, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but he's not really the first person. You know what I mean? He just happens to be the first person in this universe, like in these parts of the universes and stuff. But we got a little bit of an understanding, like in season 3, episode 1, like he kind of explained sort of the background story to him losing his wife, because I think like himself, like that's what happened in the episode himself, which is this evil version of him, I'm guessing. I don't even know if he's evil per se. I don't know. I don't really know what his methods are. He just offered him to get like he offered him power, which is like the portal gun and stuff like that, because he didn't know. He was trying to develop it himself. He just couldn't figure it out. But himself, he came to himself to offer him the portal gun and like the equation to like how to, I'm guessing, like how to really put it all together for him to get the power of the portal gun. So it's you know, when the Rick that we all know and love rejected that offer, he didn't like that, because every single Rick has always taken that offer, and since he was different, he didn't want to be like the rest. He pretty much was just like, yo, and no, I'm good. Like I don't really want that and stuff like that. So he didn't deal with rejections, I guess, so well. So he planted a bomb in front of his wife and you know, Beth and stuff, and they died in that explosion in his universe. You know what I mean? And then he went on this. But in season 3, episode 1, he kind of altered like a lot. You know, he left a lot out. So in the last episode of season 5, we got a chance to really see like he went on this endless journey of, I wouldn't say endless, but like he went on a long journey of trying to find that particular Rick who planted that bomb, and you know, try to offer him that you know, that portal gun situation. He actually ended up figuring it out himself without even himself giving it to him, you know, the formula to make the portal gun. So, you know, he went on this path of trying to figure out, like, try to find the Rick who's done this, and he spent years, I'm guessing, like years, is what I've seen in the episode, trying to find this guy. He could not find him, you know, and that's why he kind of just became who he is, like depressed and not giving a shit about anything, and you know, it's crazy. And I just want to see, like, in the new season, I kind of want to see if maybe he can kind of finally find this Rick and actually, you know, get his revenge for what he's done. You know, he took a lot from him. You know what I mean? So, you know, definitely, I'm definitely anticipating him trying to really locate this guy. You know, I think we need to get more of an more touch up on that, because I definitely want to see that guy be brought to justice for sure. And yeah, man, I mean, I obviously I just want everybody to have a good time just watching it. I think, it's season 6 I think it's going to be a lot of funny and goofy shit going on. Of course, the show has always been like that. But on a serious note, like on a serious side of the story, I think it's going to be going into like a very, very deep, side of the story if people are paying attention. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah. I always known that Rick and Morty had like this underlying story to it that is like more serious parts to it. That's what I seen of it that stood out from the rest of the Adult Swim shows like Family Guy or whatever it may be.
Yeah, because I think like on a surface level, I mean, I feel like, and it does to a certain extent. You know, you watch it, you know, it's funny. It kind of, it has, you know, it's so many different things going on in one episode, man. It's hard to wrap your head around the story for sure, but it is given to you. You know what I mean? If you really pay attention, and they do show you, you know what I mean? There's actually meaning to all of this, on why all of this is happening in the show. And I appreciate, which we don't get in a lot of animated series, you know what I mean? Like some we do, some we don't. Some are just kind of meant to just say fuck it, you know what I mean? They're just there to make you laugh or not really think too deep into it. You know, with Rick and Morty, I think a lot of people didn't like really care enough like to really care about like the backstory and stuff. But then there is like so many people out there that's like really into the series, that really wants to see, like they're asking so many questions, even like what are even Morty's like methods, what really caused him to go on this path, you know what I mean? Because we don't really know exactly like how he became who he is, you know what I mean? We don't even know, you know what I mean? Because like the very first appearance from him coming into the series was like I think they were just using Morty's and stuff, because I think that was like season 1, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It was a long time ago, but they were using a bunch of Mortys from all type of universes to kind of block out like Rick's, like I guess like Rick's signals or something like that. I'm not sure. Like I think they hide themselves away from like the portal guns like signal. I'm not really too sure. But their first plan was to kind of bait C-137 to scan his brain for the entire time, because he is the creator of the Citadel, of the city, you know, that's taken place in, I don't know which episode specifically, but the Citadel was created from C-137 Rick and the rest of the other Ricks that kind of looked up to him, because in season 5, I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but because like that's how the series is. It doesn't really explain it like from the very beginning. It's kind of like all like, it's like a bunch of like, best way I can put it, it's like a whole bunch of puzzle pieces all over the place. It's like they kind of laid some of the stuff, like some of the puzzle pieces out in season 1, but now we're on season 5, and now we're actually starting to put it together and see like an actual image of where it's going to be going. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Tied it all together.
Yeah. Like it was kind of all over the place, but they wanted to scan his brain. I mean, like let me go back to like the Citadel. So it was like a city that was actually created for all Ricks and Mortys from all type of universes. To hide away from the Federation, because regardless on, you know, whichever Rick from any universe, he's a wanted man for not following the rules and regulations of like the universe. Because like I said, there's always laws, no matter if it's on a planet or there's some sort of form of government, that there's laws in order for a reason, and he's broken every single one of those. So, you know, it doesn't matter who Rick or what specific Rick. So they made this kind of spaceship that's like a giant city to, you know, it's in the middle of space, but it's away from like any detection of the Federation, you know, any government authorities trying to look for him. So that's why this city was created by, C-137 and a bunch of other Ricks. But it was they scanned his brain in season 1, I believe, to figure out, because I'm guessing this entire plan has always been Evil Morty's plan to like gather, like how can I think like how to get the city to I think like to shoot that weapon thing that opened up that curve thing. I don't know. I don't remember like what it's called, but he needed to get more information, and to do that, he had to lure him into a trap, which he did, and he actually scanned his brain for a long time. But in season 5, he unreveals that he's been scanning his brain for years. You know what I mean? Because of that first interaction that he had with Evil Morty and Evil Rick. Yeah, there was an Evil Rick too, but it turned out like he was actually being controlled by Evil Morty.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So there's a lot of backstory, man. If you really pay attention to it, it's a lot of backstory. This all ties into like Rick really going through a lot. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, being the smartest man in the universe. It sounds like an awesome, awesome title to have. You know what I mean? Just power behind everything. But with power, it comes a lot of there's a lot of bad things that come with it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of baggage that comes with it, I would say. And with all of everything that he knows, it's like he still makes enemies, and he's always going through something. You know what I mean? Like, he's always having to, go through something. And I think towards like season 5, or like even the end of season 4, the last episode, where he had like 2 Beths. It's a long story. All I could say is about that episode is, like I said, at the end of that episode, it was kind of like him feeling a little bit, down. Like, he's been feeling down for a long time. You know what I mean? Because he does have Beth, which is a great thing. You know what I mean? Because he had to go to another universe to actually get his daughter back, because his daughter's always been feeling like she was abandoned, because he really wasn't there. Well, in his universe, his daughter died at like 5, as a child. But in another universe, she got a chance to live and, go through her adolescent years. And, she's an adult now. She's married. She had Morty, the kids, Summer. But with this version of Beth, it's kind of like she didn't get a chance to really know her father, because he never was around. He just wasn't there. So it took another Rick, which is the Rick that we all know, love, C-137 Rick, to come into that universe and take that role back, because he wanted to be a better father, because he lost his daughter, right. But he still can't even do it right. You know what I mean? He's still not really the best number one dad. He's a piece of shit dad. And he's starting to realize that towards the end of season 4 and 5, it's like everybody he knows and loves is pretty much like, they're all saying the same thing. You're a shitty friend. You're a shitty father. You're a shitty human being. And it's starting to get to him. You know what I mean? So it's like all this knowledge that you have, it's almost like it's not really helping those around you. It's destroying everything in your path. So it's that's what I mean. It's a gift and a curse,
Oh.
So it's interesting to see Rick kind of go through these emotions. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really deeper than that. It's really interesting to see all the aspects of this, the smartest man in the universe go through this, because even with all his knowledge, he's still a human being at the end of the day, right. So that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it starts to show some character development of where he's going.
And that's what I appreciate, that we can see more to him than what everybody expects, like everybody knows about him on a surface level. You know what I mean? So that's why it was good to see the origin stories, to really get an understanding like why he became who he was. You know what I mean? Because originally he wasn't even going to be a scientist. He just wanted to just be, excuse me. He just wanted to really just be a normal dude. You know what I mean? He was always intelligent. And that's the thing. We don't even know. Like, I remember we did get like an understanding of like, I mean, well, not an understanding, but we seen like a little bit of a background like on his childhood a little bit, but he was only like a kid and it was like a dream or something like that.
Oh.
But we don't even know who his real parents are, or even what set him on this path of just becoming a scientist. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know if the writers want to go that like deep into like the storytelling, but look, I'm a deep guy, man. I dive into like story shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it seemed like Sunday would do. You know, they went into detail about the other characters. Why not? You know.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that even with season 6 coming out, like I don't know if the series is gonna wrap up at just even this season. You know what I mean? I think like I think there's still some more to really go with this whole thing. Like even with like at the end of season 5, the season finale, it's like with Morty having that yellow, what is it? That yellow portal gun. Now that gun is special, right? Like that gun is not just a regular portal gun that allows you to go to like different planets, different realities. No, that portal gun that he has can go to different universes apparently. You know what I mean? Like it's taking like big leaps through through space and time, I'm guessing. I'm not entirely sure, but that's a very special portal gun that he has. So it's crazy. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, this show can go really far, man, for sure. And it's like, even what I said earlier, who can be really smarter than Rick? You know what I mean? Because I remember, I think I told you that, or like before we did the episode, I said, you know, I think I got this intel from like it was like a YouTube channel or something like that. I believe it though. It's like, you know, I think that he said that, that all the Ricks had came together, right, to kind of put like a wall, like a barrier to seal himself in, and nobody can really, you know, get through that wall for a reason, you know, and then, you know, obviously, you know, evil Morty manages to break through that wall to get it out of, you know, this whole circle, you know what I mean, of him always experiencing Rick, all the Mortys, and he just wanted to get out of this whole equation. So, right. You know, he went through that. He's now in a whole nother separate universe. And now, you know, even with, like I said, from that YouTube channel, he was telling me, like, he was saying, like, the reason why they created that barrier was to not be challenged through somebody else who can potentially be smarter than Rick. Again, these are, I don't know if it's legit source information or facts or anything like that, but it's believable because I believe there is other beings out there that could potentially be smarter than Rick. Rick is the smartest man, but you know, there is aliens and fucking other like species out there. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's keep in mind, like there could be somebody way worse than him that can give him a challenge.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
they probably can cause a threat to their universe.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, you know, that's why I'm saying this show can go way farther. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't know if a lot of people will probably be on board with that. Apparently, from what I see on IMDb, you know, so far there's only like 4 episodes only on season 6. There's going to be more than that. I think there's always like 10 episodes for each season.
Yeah, that's just like previews they show at first.
Yeah, because I think season 6 comes out September 4th. I think it's on right before Labor Day. It's only going to be like, it's going to be 10 episodes, but I don't know. I think like the episode lineups, I think one of them is called like The Final Destination. which is intriguing because I'm like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? I just don't want the show to end like right there. You know, it's just because like we still don't even have so many things to be like answer like all of our questions to be answered. Again, I don't know if the creator of the show, Justin, like he wants to, take the time to really, explain all of the things. Cause even in the Easter eggs, he's not really like, like I remember one of them, he was saying like people can shut up now about like his background story or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, cause I think a lot of people are just always asking like, yo, so what was the reason? He likes to make like jokes like that, like towards the audience who are always asking like specific questions. You know what I mean? He likes to throw a jab at that. You know what I mean? Like he likes to break the fourth wall all the time.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying I don't know if he wants to really take the time to really, he might do it in a joking manner, but I don't know if he intentionally wants to go that far into detail because it is extremely hard to do that. But it's like, but still, you still have a great advantage to go take this show far, man. I say maybe like one more season and then you can probably stop it right there, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like if it stops at 7, I'm not mad at it. You know, you don't got to take it like far, because it's like at some point it's like, all right, we're, you know how everything goes with that. Like if it keeps going, it's like it starts to get goofy.
Yeah, just turns bland and dragged out.
Yeah, it's like, what more can we do with this? You know what I mean? So definitely, I don't want to see it go that far, but I could see like one more season, being added onto it. I definitely don't want to see it like end from there.
Right. Huh. Oh yeah, I had one question. Is with Rick and Morty, so is it just as many Ricks as there's Mortys in it, in like this multiverse?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as there's a Rick, there's always a Morty. There should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure if it was a thing of like Rick just cloned himself multiple times or what? I wasn't sure of that.
It wasn't that he cloned himself multiple times. It's that it's still him. They're just other versions. Like it's still him, but I wouldn't say really other versions of him. It's just him, but in other universes. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. Like he's not clone. It's just him, but it's just not really him. That's why they labeled them as like numbers and stuff. C-137 is the main Rick who we all know and love that just doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like he knows he's smart. He has a cocky attitude. He just doesn't care. He has dark humor and all of that stuff. The rest of the Ricks, they're not really like that. You know what I mean? There's like they stayed more to like, I don't know, some type of understanding of like, I don't know how to really explain it, but like they're not the same as he is. That's why they always say like he's the Rickest Rick. You know what I mean? Like every other Rick is just kind of like boring or some random Ricks that can't really compare to him. You know what I mean? They're still smart. They're not as smart as he is though. Like he is the Rick out of all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted a clarification on that because I wasn't sure if it was a clone thing or if it was like them from a different alternate versions of them from different universes.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Like it's I wouldn't, because I don't want to say like they're different versions of him. They're still him. They're just not. It's like he's more himself than than all the rest of it. It's kind of confusing because it's like obviously
Yeah, and he's like the more original.
Yeah.
Other ones are like more alternate versions of them.
Yeah. And I don't know why they did it that way. It's kind of really confusing, but it's, that's why most people would be like, I'm not going to be digging in like this far into this. It's because it has to do with time travel. Well, it's not time traveling, but it's, different multiverses, and it can get crazy, and then there's this one episode, where they're talking about clones. Oh my goodness, Don! Like it's clones who made clones that make that clones, and it keeps going, bro. Like it was crazy. Like I don't even know how to really explain it. Like that's what I'm saying. There's episodes in there that just does not make sense, but they do that because it's part of the fucking show. You know what I mean? Everything is right. I mean, everything is wrong. And like Morty said one episode, he's like, all we know is that Rick's a god, or, you know, he's the smartest man. He knows everything and you know nothing. Everything is right is wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the concept of the show. It's like everything is topsy turvy. Like,
yeah. Like so I've seen this. I haven't seen the show of Rick and Morty, but I've seen like this one short of what Adult Swim put out with Rick and Morty. It's called The Samurai Shogun, and I'm guessing that's like an alternate version of Rick and Morty and like the samurai era.
Are you talking about the Samurai Jack looking one?
Yeah, it's like inspired by Lone Wolf and Cub. I don't know if you're familiar with that film. But
no. I thought you were talking about the Samurai Brick. Because
that's what I'm talking about. It's inspired by that movie, Lone Wolf and Cub.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, because like I don't know what was the approach. Like I think because anime was just kicking off like around that time of this episode releasing, so I think this was like a funny joke to really pull. You know what I mean? I think he just wanted to do that shit randomly.
I think Justin was like a fan of Lone Wolf and Cub because it's like a shot by shot frame of how it all played out. Him fighting.
It's really good. The way he did it too was like it said chapter. It had its own introduction. I think I sent you it too. Like it had its own anime introduction, like to that episode. It was really cool. But like the way they did it was like chapter 13 of Rick's like journey with the crows. It's like in that universe he already been fighting the owls, like because crows and owls are always like at battle with each other. It's kind of like that whole concept was kind of like a mini show within the show. Right. And it's like that was like the season finale of chapter 13. You know what I mean? Because like it would have been fun to really see like if he made his own spinoff like of that. I would have watched that. That shit would have been fun.
Yeah, because it's like done in like a different animation style. It's like more 3D looking.
Yeah, it's like, and his combat, like he cut the shit out of that fucking. You didn't see that episode though, but like he cut the shit out of the owl and shit with the knives, and he has the blade and shit. He has like the like these crow power thing. I don't know. It's crazy. Like it's it looks really cool, man. To have a good take on like an anime show, like you know what I mean. Like he could have done something with that. You know, I know it was probably just a joke on just like anime or like you said, he's really inspired by that anime. But you know, it would have been fun to really see him like if he really was gonna make like its own separate thing of his journeys with like the crows. That would have been cool.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just like a one-off thing, like a tribute to that movie he's seen, The Lone Wolf and Cub. Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah,
it was like a good example of like showing like the alternate versions of Rick and Morty in like a different universe. That's why I brought it up because it's like that didn't seem like the original Rick right there. That was like a different.
Yeah, no, it was though. It was. So what happened was that the episode before that. It's a long story short because these episodes can go on like for like hours. Right. So what happened is that you know Rick and Morty's relationship has kind of been like kind of going on a downhill, you know, towards the end of the, you know, season like season 4 and season 5. There's been a lot of distrust, you know, a lot of going back and forth. You know, it's just kind of like been a little bit of a toxicity situation there for the both of them, and you know, I think he just got tired of it and was fucking with him. He was like, all right, well, guess what? I'm about to take like there's like the spinning wheel that he had. It was like a spinning wheel that had all these different like animals or I think an object was on there too that can replace Morty. So he spun the wheel and it landed on two crows. So basically he said like, you're fired. I'm just gonna make my new sidekick these two crows. Yeah, and that's what he did. He trained the crows and shit. And it's just kind of like with Morty, I think what happened was too that made him want to do that is that he's been using his portal gun without him knowing, like he's doing shit behind Rick's back, and he's always done that. But I think Rick was just kind of getting tired of it because it's like he said, you stole my portal gun, and then you teamed up with somebody else that was like a criminal or something like that had spilled like I think he was at Rick's house, at the house. I don't know how, I don't remember the story, but he spilled some of that portal stuff on his leg, and then Morty had spilled some of it on his hand. So they both had these, they were like tied together because he can see through his hand as to what the guy can see in his leg, so they can both communicate and see each other through those portals because they're like together, they're like intertwined.
Right.
So, he just said like, you teamed up with him, destroyed my garage, pretty much his workshop, and he just felt betrayed. You know what I mean? He just felt like you were too scared to tell me that you took my gun. And you did everything behind my back. So he just went away, and that's when he did that anime thing. It's the same Rick. He just needed some time away from Morty.
Oh,
yeah.
Universe.
Yeah. He wanted some time away from Morty, so he ended up going on that journey for a long time. And then that's when Morty was trying to get him back because he felt like he needed him. You know what I mean? Morty needs Rick as much as Rick needs Morty. But in that time period, at that specific time, he didn't think that Rick was ever going to come back. So he changed his age to like 40 to make it seem like Rick's been doing this for like years, and he's like, bro, you haven't seen me in like fucking years. Like, this is how you're going to waste your life fighting, fucking crows. And, when are you going to fight the big bad? Like, when are you going to finish this whole journey and stuff like that? Rick got kind of upset, cause he's like, fuck you, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like a nod to the story of Odin from Viking stories.
Yeah.
Like or that, because he would carry around like two crows and they would like guide him to
that's exactly what it was. Like, it was like the crows were communicating with him and shit, and
that's a tribute to that.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was weird, but yeah, that was their relationship was like taking a real deep steep, you know what I mean? Because like I said, the kids are always doing something that they're not supposed to, you know what I mean? Like they're always getting into his shit and doing crazy shit. Oh man, that's why Rick is always like going, just sometimes he doesn't even know what they're doing because he's actually doing his own fucking adventure, you know what I mean? So it's like when they're doing shit behind his back, I think he gets so like, it's so frustrating for him because it's like, you're touching my shit.
Right.
Yeah.
On a way to fuck it up, his mission.
It's a really good show, man. I mean, I definitely highly recommend anybody that hasn't, watched it. It's so funny, man. It's if you're if you want to watch it for the story driven, it has story behind it. If you want to watch it for the humor, it offers so much, to watch. So I definitely recommend everybody give it a shot if you want.
Sure.
They actually had that other spinoff TV show. I forgot what it's called. It's the same creator.
Oh yeah, it's on Hulu, right?
Yeah. It's not as I haven't tried it out, but I don't know if it's as funny as Rick and Morty though.
Huh. So that's like within the same universe as Rick and Morty, that show?
I don't know. That's the thing. I think it is, but it's just they're not in it though. They're not in it. It's just like these 3 characters.
Oh, it's called Solar Opposites.
Yeah. It's like these 3 characters that just, I think it's just talking about their timeline. The Rick and Morty's not in it though at all.
Right. Yeah, they're like aliens.
Yeah, it's like and they have 3 fucking seasons already. So I was like, I don't know, maybe it's good, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it.
Yeah. All I know is it can't be better than the real thing. You know what I mean? Like this is how you made the show. You know what I mean? You created another show that looks exactly like it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's just showing like a different perspective if it's in the same universe, like what those aliens had to deal with.
I just thought of this. I was like, what if Morty went into their universe? The evil Morty. Would that be crazy? Bro, that would be crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're not in the show at all, maybe they're in, like, that other universe that evil Morty probably went to. Bro, that should be crazy. Like,
yeah, that'd be something. Who knows? There's maybe already an Easter egg in there.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yo, that'd be crazy. I'll be mad. I think everybody would be like, what?
Yeah, I could for sure see him doing that because he's always breaking the fourth wall and shit like that. Like they did,
absolutely.
Like openings with like the Simpsons and like different other characters from other shows.
He took a jab at the Simpsons, Futurama, South Park. Who else? I think that's about it. I don't think Family Guy yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There wasn't really a jab at South Park, but they just kept saying like World of Warcraft did it. Like I think they were playing. No, I'm saying Minecraft. I'm sorry, Minecraft. They were playing Minecraft, and they was just like, yeah, South Park did it 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But
you break the fourth wall.
But definitely, like I said, man, I hope that everybody has like really good anticipations for season 6 comes out September 4th. I'm looking forward to this season, man, for sure. As you could tell, I'm a huge fan of it. I've been a fan of this show for a long time now. Long time, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, such a huge fan base. I'm sure. It's damn near carrying Adult Swim at this point, like all the animation. It's
absolutely. I don't even think what is carrying it at this point, because Aqua Teen Ben left the building like what, decades ago, right? Like that show's been canceled for years, and
so lately.
And then Toonami, it's like is that even a thing anymore? Like,
yeah, it's still a thing, but it's just like. Everything's online now, so it's like
what
cable in general.
But that's what I'm saying. Why would it be a thing anymore? You have everything, like you have Crunchyroll and Funimation and all those subscriptions, those places that you can watch anime. So
I know they recently did a collab with Crunchyroll with Blade Runner. They made like a Blade Runner anime recently.
Oh yeah.
Last year.
How was that? Was that good or?
It was like done in a 3D style, and I didn't really like it.
I feel like they're doing a lot of those things nowadays. Like, you seen that Dragon Ball Z thing? Oh.
Right. Yeah, it's like more CGI.
Yeah, it kind of brought me back into like the 2016 Berserk again, man.
Dear Lord, like, no good time with that.
I don't know. Like the graphics is good, but it doesn't feel like a Dragon Ball Z film. We'll leave that for another episode because you know me, I already got a lot to say about that. I didn't watch it, but I've been a fan of the series since. I mean, who hasn't? If you grew up in the '90s, you know what I mean. Like, especially like that was like the shit when you used to come home from school and on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, like we said, it used to air on Toonami.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it used to be fire. Like,
yeah. So
it's been crazy, man. It's been crazy.
I would say like Smiling Friends. I don't know if you heard of that show. That's like another new Adult Swim show. That I could see that also carrying Adult Swim because that's pretty good. That's made by Psychic Pebbles. They used to be on YouTube. But outside of that, I
just feel like that they are Adult Swim at this point. Like,
yeah, that's like they're like the face of Adult Swim. Like every time you type in Adult Swim, Rick and Morty
That's the
pops up.
first,
Like,
bro. That is the first show that pops up. Like,
yeah, it's like the most mainstream thing they got.
yeah, but I mean, the show's great, man. I think it's going great. I think where it's heading, I think it's gonna be great, and I don't have any complaints about it. I hope it doesn't start going downhill at some point. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's gonna make another season, I think it should be at 7. I think 7 should be the kind of the end game right there.
Okay.
If it's this one, hey, if it's this one, I won't be. I will be a little upset, but it's at the same time, it's like the show's already been on for a long time now. 2013 was a long time ago, man. So it's been on for some time now. But at the same time, it's like you could still go far with the show, though. Unless he's working on other things. I mean, it's interesting that Justin's actually working on that game called High on Life. That's cool that he's actually working on a game now.
Right, that's about to drop pretty soon in October, right?
Yeah, I think October 24th, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if anybody got time to really check that out, but it's a game called High on Life. It's made by the creators, obviously, of Rick and Morty. It kind of resembles Rick and Morty a little bit because it has like a portal gun or something like that. It's like some sort of gun that you can actually shoot, and it kind of looks like you're already in a weird universe type thing, so it has that atmosphere of Rick and Morty already. Right.
And the guns and shit talk, and they transform into different creatures.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that's cool that he's actually moving on to video games. While he has the show, coming out, I would like to actually see a movie from Rick and Morty. I don't know, maybe, right?
Oh yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do it by now.
Yeah, that right. Like, because I feel like even with how many Adult Swim movies that came out on fucking theaters. Like, come on, Rick. Like, how the fuck Aqua Teen made it to movie theaters? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, early on, like Aqua Teen and fucking Family Guy with the spinoff of Star Wars.
Yeah, like there's been plenty of animated movies like The Simpsons and all those. You know what I mean? So it's like. I'm shocked that they didn't really make a movie yet. Even if it's just like a low budget movie. Well, I mean, look, their production, like their budgeting it can't be cheap. It's actually they probably have the funding for it. They just haven't done it yet because I'm pretty sure they can make a movie.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, they have the fun, man. This franchise is powerful. I'm telling you, it's not just one of those cartoons that it might not just go that far. It's made an impact. You seen what it did with the McDonald's thing. You know what I mean? Like
spoon sauce, the sauce.
They
whatever.
brought back it was a legit sauce that came out in the 90s when Mulan actually first dropped. So it was like, like if McDonald's was if that TV show managed to reach McDonald's, it was kind of like, okay,
like revive a sauce from back in the 90s. That's pretty powerful to have that amount of reach.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's been in Fortnite. I'm pretty sure there's been other TV shows that kind of been throwing them into the mix. You know what I mean? Like, this show has reached a lot, and it deserves it because I feel like they've, the amount of work and everything about the show, it's well done, in my opinion. So
and to say somebody that me never watching Rick and Morty around the time where the Pickle Rick episode came out, that shit was everywhere. Like you couldn't escape the memes from that.
Oh my god, because that was the fucking best episode ever, bro. Like it was, bro. Like the combat of him, bro. Like it was, and it was funny. He was actually making fun of John Wick in that episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like because there's a part in there towards the end where he came up from like the toilet and shit because he was actually in the sewers. He came up from their toilet, and it was like an organization, like some sort of organization and shit. And he was killing these guys one by one and whatever the case is. Like, he was setting traps and they were falling into it. They call him Selenia, which is the pickle man or some shit. Mind you, that's the same concept if you watch John Wick 2, the boogeyman or some shit. I think they called him. Right. Yeah, it was basically in the same format where the guy was actually in the beginning of John Wick 2. They were kind of, piping him up, saying he killed a guy with a pencil and shit like that. So it was like, that's what this episode was about. It was making fun of John Wick.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And even with the Scary Terry episode, that was making fun of Freddy Krueger. You know what I mean? Like, it's because Freddy Krueger has like balls in his chin or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're always making fun of some actual franchise or some movie.
Right.
Like they did Inception. You know that movie Inception?
Oh, right.
They made fun of that. Yeah, it was a combination of making fun of Inception and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. They were making fun of both of those movies.
Oh yeah, and I even seen like a little clip of them making fun of Rambo, like him in an army suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they always making nods at different friends.
I like that though. I like that. It's funny, you know?
Yeah. It's a comedic thing, the animation.
I actually wanted to try out the VR game. I never tried it.
Oh right, yeah. Always seen that. I was curious about that.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually has like an actual story behind it. I don't think so. I know you can like pick up like shit, and I think you can shoot the portal gun and shit, but I don't know if it actually has a story behind it. I think you could just, you can go you're in his garage. I always see people always playing it all the time. Okay. But there's no I don't think there's like a story to it. I think you're just randomly going to like certain places or whatever the case is.
Oh, got you.
But yeah, man, definitely, I'm excited. Season 6 on the rise for this series. I hope everybody got a chance to really get a little bit education on the show. I know I went too much into it. I talk a lot. Sorry, guys. It's just I'm a big fan of the show, and I think everybody's gonna have a good time watching the season 6. So I hope everybody gets a chance to enjoy it. We definitely want to hear your thoughts and opinions on what your anticipation is for season 6. What if if we didn't cover anything on this episode, maybe we can cover it on another. Definitely want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you enjoyed the content that we've been pushing out. I know the scheduling has been kind of off. We haven't been on it. But we will continue to keep being consistent with pushing out the episodes to you guys. We want you guys to know that we're not going anywhere. And, just have a good time on the podcast. That's all it's about, man. And Don, you have anything to say?
No, that's about it. Yep. You guys stay tuned and see y'all next time.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Leave a like and follow us on all platforms, social media platforms. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.